So what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jonathan D'Angelo, a.k.a. Johnny D. And you are tuned into another Blur Review session. Today, tonight, tomorrow, ShadyCon, wherever you may be listening to this, we are talking about the best anime for you to watch for your Zodiac, as well as your blood type. We're going to get into that with the crew. First, I'd like them to introduce myself. Y'all heard of me. Y'all heard who I am, so let's go around the room.
All right, well, everybody should know me. I'm Neka Yasha, aka your girl Danny. So I feel like y'all should know me. And if you don't, I feel sad.
I'm Kai, Burning Star. Burning Star 141 on Twitch and Twitter, and just Burning Star on YouTube. I stream video games. Yeah.
I'm Rhea Mars, and I also stream and do video games and love video games and eat and breathe video games.
And you guys should know me, Mermaid Moonchild. You guys can catch me on Instagram at mermaid.moonchild, dropping random bits of metaphysical and astrological and tarot fun facts when I feel like it. You also should know me from hosting Wind Down Wednesday on After Dark. So if you haven't caught up to Wind Down Wednesday, catch up. We got another episode coming up soon. But you guys heard the topic of today's episode, and everybody who knows me on this panel and this crew knows that anime is not exactly my bag, but astrology is.
You know, that's okay.
So I was really happy that we came up with this topic. So maybe y'all can convince me to watch the right anime that will change my perspective on this anime world. For those who aren't super familiar with astrology, what we're gonna do is kick it off by going in order of the zodiac wheel. So that means we're starting with Aries. If you're wondering why you start with Aries, it's because the spring equinox is what kicks off the zodiac year. So Aries comes first, aka March 21st through April 20th. We're gonna be focusing on your sun signs, which means the sign that the sun was in when you were born. It's typically the sign that you know. If you want to know the rest of your signs, you're gonna have to pull a whole natal chart, which means you should probably book a natal chart reading with me. Shameless plug. But anyway, we're gonna kick it off with Aries. So Aries is a fire sign. It is a sign that is known as the Ram, and it's ruled by the planet Mars. So from all those different hints, you're probably getting how aggressive this sign can be. It can be a little aggressive, but mostly like I want you to think confidence and fearlessness. Aries people are usually strong leaders, people who like to create order, but they can be a little rigid. They can be a little inflexible, and they can have tempers. So I don't, is anybody an Aries on this crew? I can't even remember at this point.
Nope.
Well, my, although we're only talking about sun signs today, my moon is in Aries. So, you know, I be having tendencies. My emotional state is built in Aries. But Johnny D, convince me, what anime should I watch based on if I'm an Aries?
So I did a little research from my bag because I like specific anime as it is. And I decided that as an Aries, the best anime you should watch is Code Geass, Lelouch the Rebellion. One of my favorite anime, in my opinion, top 10 of all time. Code Geass, Lelouch the Rebellion is about Lelouch. He's a kid, and his father is the ruler of this country called Britannia. And him and his sister were sent over to Japan as like a peace treaty, a pseudo peace treaty, because Britannia is a world superpower and Japan felt threatened by that power. Well, after Lelouch and his sister are sent over there to as foreign exchange students, Britannia invades Japan, decimates Japan, takes over the entire world, and Lelouch decides that after his classmates are killed in the collateral damage of the war, he's gonna get revenge on his father. And a couple years into the arc, not literally, but you know, like a SpongeBob 7 years later type deal, what ends up happening is Lelouch ends up being a part of a terrorist attack against Britannia and gains the powers and abilities to be able to make someone do whatever he wants them to do, so long as he looks them in the eye. But it only works one time per person. And he uses that ability to make himself the leader of the terrorist cell, to overthrow Britannia and get revenge against his father for his dead mother and taking over the world. And he's very calculated. He's very calculated. He's very emotionally driven. He's very passionate. He's very reserved, very tactful. He's a perfectionist. At the same time, though, he can be very, he has asshole tendencies. He definitely has asshole tendencies. He definitely at times can let his emotions get the best of him. He's not always the most grounded, but he does get the job done. And I feel like that would be perfect for you. Also, I know I mentioned Japanese blood types, and they base their blood types on personality. And I feel like for blood type, this anime would give an AO.
Okay, good stuff. So let me ask you this, because there's a lot of traits that go with Aries. Is there any romance in this show? Does he have any love interests, or is it just straight warfare, dictatorship, building an empire?
Lelouch has hoes, but hoes don't have Lelouch. If that makes sense.
Oh my god!
Oh, no. That's very Aries.
What a way to put it.
That is
like, I feel like that's the best way to put it.
But there's like a subplot though. There's one character that has a romance between both seasons, and
yeah. But like you can't say without spoiling it. But
yeah,
I feel, it's not so much a romantic. Like he's not the romantic, but he does have a love interest. Mainly, what I like about Lelouch though is that he's doing everything he's doing is for family.
Yep.
And Aries have family, they're family centric. And so he's doing it because when his mother was murdered, his dad didn't do anything to stop her murder. Not only that, but his sister was so traumatized that she went blind and deaf. So
no, just blind. She was just blind.
Blind and she stopped walking. She went blind and stopped walking. So everything he's doing is to give his sister a better world than the one that their father thought he gave them. And I fuck with that heavy. But yeah, Lelouch is not about the hoe. She's very Chip Skylark.
Good shit. Well, Aries people out there you go. That's the Blur Views pick for you. And type AO blood type people. So the next zodiac on the wheel is Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. The dates for Taurus are April 21st through May 21st, symbolized by the bull, and it's ruled by the planet Venus. Taurians are, it's symbolized by the bull. They're typically bull-headed people, very, very much so, determined, devoted. They stick to traditions and rituals. They can be a little rigid as well, stubborn, moody, temperamental, and a bit confrontational. But the thing about Taurians that I like is that because they're ruled by Venus, they like the finer things in life. So they really, really, really fuck with tradition, but they fuck with tradition on a money, power, respect type standard. So Danny, if I was a Taurus, what anime would you suggest for me?
Erased. Hands down, I suggest Erased for a Taurus. Oh, that was my mic. Wow, sorry about that. So I say Erased because that is basically a supernatural murder mystery anime, which is peak Taurus because the main protagonist is basically determined to figure out why his elementary school classmate got murdered, and through his special ability, he is allowed to see into the future. It comes at random, kind of like That's So Raven, but you find out through events that he remembers that things that happened when he was little didn't transpire as he remembered, and somehow with his ability he was able to jump back 20 years into the past when he was in 5th grade to the month before his classmate went missing and then was found murdered. So it's basically like the butterfly effect of him trying to keep going back because he has a limited amount of time to keep going back into the past to figure out why his classmate dies, how to keep him alive so in the future it could be a true happy ending. And has one of the greatest plot twists I've seen in anime in a long time, and I feel like every Taurus will love this show.
Good stuff. So does he have any love? I would imagine he probably doesn't. He seems pretty focused.
No, yeah, he definitely has a love interest in this show because he solely falls in love with the classmate. It's weird because he's a grown adult back in his teenager his little elementary school body, but he always had a crush on her when he was little. So it's like he's doing this out of love, and then the plot twist happens, and you're just sitting there going, "Oh, spoiler alert! The girl didn't wait for him while he was in a coma."
Poor little Tink.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
When you think of blood type, do you have any thoughts there?
That one, I was thinking of a type O blood because in Japan, they say that type O blood type people are super serious, very straightforward and hardworking and passionate. And I'm like, yeah, that definitely fits a Taurus.
All right. Has anybody else seen this anime?
I have, yeah.
You give it 2 thumbs up?
I do. It's a good anime.
Yeah. And if you don't want to watch the anime, there's also a live action adaptation on Netflix. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Well, good stuff. And of course, anybody, again, because I can't remember when our birthdays are for whatever reason. Whenever we get to your sign, make sure you call it out. So the next sign on the wheel is Gemini. And we are currently in Gemini season as we are filming this. Gemini is an air sign, takes place, birth dates May 22nd to June 21st, symbolized by the twins, ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication, which is why Geminis talk so much. And sometimes they double talk, triple talk, depending on which Gemini you're dealing with. But they are also very passionate. They think a lot. Like they have a lot of thought going on in that head of theirs. They're very social. They're very creative, and they're very persuasive. But they can be a little flaky. They can be unpredictable for certain.
Oh yeah.
And they can be cunning. They can dabble into a little bit of that con artist energy. So I am very interested, Rhea, in getting your thoughts on what anime will work best for a Gemini.
Well,
wait, Rhea, aren't you a Gemini?
I am a Gemini. My birthday just passed.
Damn. What?
And so as a Gemini, I do know what I'm talking about. And I think all Geminis, don't quote me, all Geminis would be into My Hero Academia. And it's because when I think of Gemini, I think of our core trait. It's versatility. You know, it's being able to change, it being able to adapt, to like shift into any type of thing or personality, even sometimes, you know, the two-faced thing, you know, being able to kind of like fit into any type of genre that you even can. So I feel like with My Hero Academia, there's so many characters to choose from. There's a different plot in like every 5 episodes, honestly. And yes, it all arcs to the main character, but there are so many different plot lines. You don't really need to be that invested in the main character's plot line to love this anime. Also, different people have different quirks. I feel like different Geminis also have different quirks, but yeah, like they have different quirks and therefore have different superpowers, and you can align or associate yourself with the specific superpower that they have. So that's why I chose that anime.
Awesome. And what was your related blood type?
So I chose AB because AB blood types are a little bit of the type A blood type where they're strict and like kind of tidy, and then the type B blood type where they are more so passionate, creative, and a little bit all over the place. So that's kind of how Geminis, and I would say most air signs are. They kind of teeter back and forth on those. So that's the blood type I chose.
Okay, good stuff. And you know my next question, because I need to know if I'm gonna fall in love with a love story here, because that's really what's gonna motivate me to keep watching this. So
far I'm only up to, I think, season 3, and there is no defined love interest, but I feel like there's budding, because they're in high school, you know what I mean, like a budding romance.
There's definitely romance with Uraraka. She crushes on Deku hardcore.
I feel like that's what they're trying to lead up to, and she's bomb too. I don't hate her, but sometimes they make anime love interests really, well, you know, a lot, but she really has a huge amount of determination. And I think that's another thing, like, even though they're all different, their determination to be a superhero or to be powerful on a shadow type scale is what is really going to motivate a Gemini to get into this anime, because Geminis are also determined. No matter what they fit into, like whether they want to be a teacher or, I don't know, a circus clown, I don't know. They're still determined.
That's a quality job rec for a Gemini. Like, I feel like they would make great circus clowns, because they could just go. They could go to Joker, or they could go Bozo. They could go either way. Like, you don't know what you're gonna get.
You don't. And I don't think they even know what you're gonna get either sometimes, if I'm being honest.
Nice. Well, I thank you. I'm gonna have to check that out, because Gemini is super close to me on the wheel, because the next sign up is my sun sign. I am a Cancer, a water sign, also symbolized as the crab. Those birth dates are June 22nd through July 21st, and we are ruled by the moon. So we are a very intuitive sign, very in touch with our emotions, probably sometimes too in touch with our emotions. The good thing about Cancers, I can say, I think across the board, male, female, it never fails. Very nurturing, very family oriented, typically super supportive of their friends, sometimes too supportive. And from a negative side, all those emotions, you know, it can get you in your chest sometimes. You can be real sensitive. You can be a little moody. And depending on where you are from an emotional development standpoint, you can be a little manipulative with that. And gossipy. That's another thing that Cancers can definitely be. I have myself found my gossipy ways from time to time. So Danny, I need you to point me in the right direction. This is the one.
Okay.
I was most waiting to know about.
Okay, so this one is my pick. This is like an older series. It came out in the 90s, but this anime is like near and dear to my heart. It's Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water. It is an anime that is kind of takes a lot of inspiration and actually features some characters from 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And so it's basically about this girl named Nadia, who is an orphan, and she is part of this circus and meets up with Jean and has this special pendant that is called the Blue Water Pendant, and it turns out that she's from Atlantis. And she's basically trying to she thinks she's from Africa. It's not till later on the series when she meets Captain Ahab that she finds out who she is, because, you know, she's an orphan. So she spends like a good half of the series trying to figure out who she is, where she's from, with the help of Jean, and she has a little lion companion, and then they find out that she's Atlantean, and then that's when they find out this really big plot device things happens with her blue water, and you have this really weird enemy, and Captain Ahab does some weird stuff, and there's a really cute romance story between Nadia and Jean, because he's fascinated with her from the jump and is in love with her, and like, it's such a good anime, and even though it's from the 90s, it still holds up really well for an older series.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, other people on this panel. Then you had me at the 90s, number one. I already knew it was going to be quality at that point.
Yeah, and it's also done. It was a series that came before Evangelion, the same studio, so it's quality, because the same studio that made Evangelion made this before that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I was about to ask you, didn't they make that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This was their series before Eva.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna binge watch this. Atlantean, yes. She has a special blue pendant that's dealing with water. Come on, that's the mermaid movie.
That's what I'm saying. It is peak Cancer anime. Peak.
Oh, and then you said there was a romance. You know we love romance.
Yes, because
especially
John,
people who adore us.
Like John was like from the jump, like I need to romance this girl. I'm gonna help her figure herself out. They literally travel around the whole world just trying to figure out her origin.
Yeah, that's dope. There. Especially for Cancer energy, that's super strong because it's like she doesn't know her family history enough to be able to lean into that side of herself. So that I'm excited. You don't even know. I'm about to get off the episode and go.
Please do. Please do. I need more
finish without me, guys. I'm gonna have to go watch this right now. So what blood type would you give this anime?
I'd give it a B type just because B types are just so loving and like affectionate and just want to like just explore the world so much, and that's what this anime was. Like it was them exploring the world to figure themselves out.
Nice. Has anybody else seen it?
No, but I want to watch it.
It's so good.
Rhea, we're gonna have to watch this. We're gonna have to
please,
share.
I need more people to watch the classics.
I'm excited. Thanks, Danny.
You're welcome.
So the next sign up on the wheel is Leo. Leo symbolizes the lion. It is a fire sign. The birth dates associated with Leo are July 22nd to August 23rd, and Leo's ruled by the sun. So this is super duper strong energy. Leos are the epitome of self-confidence. They believe in themselves even when no one else does. They're that lion energy strong because they have a lot of courage. They're very regal, and they have very magnetic personality. Leos, as we all know, also really love to be front and center. So they're actually pretty decent performers in some regard or another, whether it's actually acting, singing, something. Leos know how to put on a show. But of that same token, they believe in themselves so much. They think they are so wonderful. And sometimes that gets a little shadowy. So they can be a little prideful, vain, dramatic. And they get really jealous. Oh gosh, they are ruled by ego, and that ego energy can turn to jealousy super quick. And although they're very magnetic, they don't typically have strong friendships so much as they have fans, because of that performance energy. So Leo is an interesting sign, and I have a little Leo energy in my chart too. So I would love to know another anime that I might be interested in, Rhea.
Yeah, so I was almost gonna put this as Gemini because the anime is Nana, and twins, Gemini, duality. Nana is about two girls. They're both named Nana, but they are from two completely different sides of the coin. Nana is from
I thought it was about
suburbs. She is from a normal, typical, happy home. She's love-stricken, love-struck, always falling for any guy who basically pays attention to her. And then on the other side, there is Nana, and she is this urban punk chick. She wants to become a rock star. She takes no shit. She's aggressive, but she also is in a band with the love of her life. She's only had one love. She still only has that one love. And one day on a train, while Nana and Hachi, the girly one is called Hachi for the rest of the show once they find out that they are both named Nana. So Hachi and Nana meet one day on a train. They met by fate. They met and got along before they even knew that their names were both Nana. And then they found out and they separate, but then fate brings them back again when they both happen to want the same apartment to move into Tokyo. So the chaos and drama ensues. I picked this for Leo because even though you could argue the duality and the emotional drama for Cancer, and the duality for Gemini, I think the main basis of this anime is the attention that both of these girls want. Nana wants to become a rock star, so there's a lot of concerts, big shows happening, a lot of fashion happening in this anime and this determination for stardom that she wants so desperately. I also picked this because her boyfriend actually does become a quote unquote rock star. He becomes a bass member for a group that becomes super huge. So he has to leave her. And even though she's heartbroken that she's losing her boyfriend, she's more heartbroken and envious that it was him and not her. And I think that is Leo energy to a T. You're jealous that he got the spotlight and not you, and you want to work so that you become his equal. She doesn't want to marry him and become a housewife and have babies and just live off of his success. She wants her own success, her own spotlight. And I think that's why I chose Leo. Nana, on the other hand, I feel like is more so of like the whiny Leos. Maybe she's more of a Cancer in my opinion.
No,
but
she's definitely the
still
whiny
wants
Leo.
attention. She still wants a lot of attention.
Wait a minute.
No, Nana is definitely the other side of the Leo.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Like she's like a little bit more crying, but I think she's also still determined. She's determined in her own goals. And I think there are also times where she shows Leo tendencies. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is this point where she could have made a typical Cancer decision in taking somebody back, but she doesn't, and it's strictly ego on why she doesn't. But I think it was a good decision all around. I think it was a good time for her to do her ego and be like, nah, I don't want that. And so that's why I feel like it's more of a Leo anime than a Cancer and Gemini anime. But I think everybody would love Nana. Nana's just a great anime in general. It's sad.
God, it's so good.
It's tragic. You will become attached to these characters.
There's a lot of messy romance in it.
Oh yeah,
Very messy romance.
Very messy, but Leos love mess.
Yeah,
they do.
That's a big fact.
They will love this anime.
Because mess makes you the center of attention, and romantically, like you said, that the one girl is like always looking. She'll hop around based on who's giving her attention. That's super Leo energy when it comes to romance. So that is it sounds spot on. So blood type, what are you giving it?
So I'm giving it an O. I felt like the O blood type was way more of the fire signs, because they're self-determined, they're self-centered, no shade, fire signs. They're very confident, and they have leadership traits in them, or leadership qualities in them. So I gave this the O blood type.
Okay, good stuff. So we are now at the 6th zodiac. We're halfway through the year. Clearly, Rhea and Danny, you guys were super pumped about the first half of the year, because I swear Johnny and Kai are going to talk, but not until the second half of the year.
I didn't know, like, if I'd known, I would have spread out my choices more evenly, but it's whatever.
I think there's something I think we should really look into that, peel back the layers of how we ended up where we ended up, from y'all's personalities to these selections, but that's another episode for another day. So 6th zodiac is Virgo, guys. Virgo is symbolized as the Virgin. It's an earth sign. The birth dates associated with Virgo are August 24th through September 23rd. And Virgo's also ruled by Mercury. So here we are with another very thought and communication based sign, very similar to Gemini in that aspect. But Virgo, because it has that kind of virginal energy, is just a little bit less social, a little bit less people oriented than you would see Gemini, the other sign ruled by Mercury. Virgos are super self-disciplined. They are very rational and analytical. They are known most for their service to others. Like, they are very service-oriented people. Brilliant to a fault. Sometimes so brilliant that they can get super critical. Virgos are so nitpicky. They are like they have like a nervous, paranoid energy about them when it comes to making decisions and how they progress and move forward. They do not operate from emotions at all. That's not their bag. And because they believe so highly in intelligence, like they should be more grounded than they seem, since they're an earth sign, but I don't really get grounded energy from Virgos. I don't know if anybody knows any Virgos in here.
I know. You just made my friend. You're describing my friend to a T.
Sorry, friend. I mean, it sounds like you got some good traits too, but
okay. But no, they're peak Virgo, and I literally went to them because they're animator. I'm like, hey, what's an anime you watch that's Virgo energy? And they were like this, and I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Right. So go ahead, drop it on us, Danny. What's the Virgo?
So straight from a Virgo's mouth is the anime psychopaths, because Virgos love to feel morally superior to people and watch everybody from a glass hill. And basically, psychopaths is a dystopian world where the system judges whether you would be a criminal or not, and they hire criminals to catch potential other criminals, even though you're just born and haven't even lived your life yet. And it's a very extremely Virgo energy. Like, you want to watch an anime that makes you feel like, man, I wish I could be in this world. Now everything's already determined for me, and I can, like, it's like, oh, you could be born. It's like, oh, hey, you're not gonna be a criminal, and you can spend your whole life going, I'm not a criminal.
Yeah, that sounds Virgo. Yeah.
Especially
Look it down. Okay, I got it.
Especially the way they hire criminals to catch the criminals. It's like, the show is great, and it's like 3 seasons. It just keeps you at the edge of your seat, and it'll keep a Virgo's attention span all the way through.
And they'll have something to, be critical of the whole show. Like, should they have went after that criminal?
Right. It's very psychologically intense, and that's why I enjoyed it. Did anyone else watch Psychopaths?
No, but I want to watch it now.
It's really good. Like, if you like psychological anime, this is one for you to watch.
Okay.
Duly noted. I just want to add, side note, y'all, clearly I've been looking into the wrong animes. Clearly I had the wrong list in my big book of animes you should watch, because none of this shit came up, and all of this shit sounds dope. So
just come to me. I'm literally a walking encyclopedia of anime. So you say a genre, I will give you at least 5 different things you could watch.
At this point, I got 12, so I'm on a good path.
There you go.
What blood type did you give it?
I couldn't pick a blood type for this because Virgos are just so weird. I mean, I love Virgos, but like, any Virgo can lean any which way with the blood type, and I'm just, because they're literally the true neutral when you really think about it. So I'm like, they could be an O, they could be an A, they could be a B, they could be an AB. So I'm like, I don't know.
I think the answer then is all of the above.
Yes.
All the blood type. Check this out. This is clearly the anime for the people.
Yes.
Good stuff. So we have made it to the second half of the Wheel of the Year, guys. And Johnny, you finally get to talk again. You guys should be so blessed. He talks so much. So I know our audience is probably, super pleased with the amount of talking you have not done today, because you do so much. So we are going to reintroduce them to Johnny D here with Libra. So Libra is symbolized by the scales, very air sign energy. The birth dates associated with Libra are September 23rd through October 22nd. And this is another sign that is ruled by Venus. So another one of those signs is going to really care about the finer things in life, beauty, art, because they're symbolized by the scales, balance is super important to Libras as well. They're usually humanitarians, and they're peacemakers when they're, morally on the right path. Now, when you're dealing with a Libra who might not be on their ascension path, that's what we're going to call it. You probably are dealing with a person who is overthinking everything. They got to weigh the pros and the cons of things so much that they usually never make a decision on anything. And then of that same token, they're usually very black and white, whereas some signs are very flexible and adaptable. Libras are like, it's right or it's wrong, and that's it. That's all you get from them. They can be super materialistic also because of that Venus ruler. Those finer things can sometimes drive them to do, say, and participate in activities that are very self-centered to get to that end goal. And because they like peace so much, they can be yes people. So those are the people who are not as manipulative with that energy, but can fall into some shadowy traits of just always saying yes to avoid conflict. So, Libras, what should they watch, Johnny?
It's a lot of crazy and all that quote unquote balance. And we're gonna leave my dating experience for another time. However, the anime I decided to go with and it's based on the balance, right? Libras have to have balance, right? Things have to be fair. They have to be equal. I chose Death Note. Death Note is a huge cult classic, huge fan favorite. It's about a student named Light Yagami who finds a death note.
Yeah.
Yagami. Did I say it right? Did I say it?
You say Yagami, it's Yagami.
Oh, Yagami, my bad. Like Yagami, he finds the death note, and what it is a notebook, and any name he writes in there, they die. So he decides that he's gonna start killing off criminals. That's fair, right? He goes local, then he goes international with it. He kind of gets hit. He goes up against a detective named L, and they go back and forth trying to figure out who each other is, so that L can turn in Light. And the whole reason why Light even has a death note is because a Shinigami gave it. Shinigami gave it. He dropped
has
it.
Those very southern pronunciations. Clearly.
No, he shouldn't have. No,
he's the American version of Death Note.
Thank you. He's a filthy American. That's all.
My bad. We all can't be perfect anime in Ohio, But anyway,
you're right.
So Shinigami dropped it in the human world out of boredom and was like, I want to see what happens. So that's how he got the death note. I like it. I chose it. I liked it for Libra because of the balance. Light has pure intentions, but they become like he has pure ideals. Like his intentions are good. The execution, not so much so, and he teeters down that path. He goes from self-righteousness to self-destruction very quickly in the anime, and it's a very good one. It's a psychological thriller as well as a sci-fi and horror. I would say horror as well, just because of like the way people die and how deaths play out in the show. For blood type, I gave it a B and an O because Light was passionate about what he was doing. He was erratic, unforgiving on the B side. On the O side, he was unpredictable. He was cold. He was just killing people. He was like, oh, you're criminal, dead. Very strong-willed, very devoted to his cause, and very arrogant and ruthless when it came to his ideals and what he was doing. So I definitely recommend Death Note for Libras.
So question for you. You know my question.
And honestly, Capricorns too.
I need to know, was there an underlying romantic note? There was no romance. He was just out here.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to even touch that.
You wouldn't call it a romance.
You could call it a romance for sure.
It was a one-sided romance of manipulation.
Manipulation. It was very manipulative.
One-sided romance.
Very Joker Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Much like Libra men, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there.
This sounds appropriate for Libra energy, so okay, I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride. I've heard a lot about Death Note. I see the memes. I ain't watched it, but I may watch a little episode here.
Definitely.
I'm gonna put my best friend on it, so maybe she can see some herself in there and see what she want to do about her life.
Hopefully for the better, because if she choose the path he went on, then God help us all. Cause
at least you have a fair warning.
Yeah.
Man, she can use it for like insight. All right. So the next sign on the wheel of the year. And I already know, actually, I lied. I know some people's birthdays. And I knew it was your birthday, Rhea. We're just gonna pretend like I didn't even say that at the beginning. It's Scorpio, and that is Kai's sign.
Yeah.
Scorpio is symbolized by the scorpion. It's a water sign. And the birth dates associated with Scorpio are October 23rd through November 22nd, and it is ruled by Pluto. Pluto being the planet that is overseeing like death, sex, and magic. So
also ruled by future. Don't forget that.
Oh, also got it. Check. So Scorpio is very interesting because when you think of water signs, you usually think of Cancer and Pisces, and Scorpio comes in with that dark, deep, muddy waters. That's where Scorpio comes into play. They're very mysterious people, also in touch with their emotions, but they're very like you just never know what's going on in a Scorpio's mind. They are mystics to the core, even when they don't believe in mysticism. They are very loyal people, and again, because of that loyalty, that trait of loyalty in them, they can be a little suspicious. They don't trust people very often. If you cross them once, that's it. You pretty much done. The Scorpio's never gonna trust you again. They can be bitter, they can be stubborn, they can be jealous, and they can be controlling. But it's because they're so discerning on the other end of that. They see people for who people are for the most part. Unfortunately, they do not typically give people the opportunity to grow or change. So you better come to a Scorpio correct, or you've missed your opportunity to engage with that wonderful person. Oh, and they will fight. That too. They will beat you. Scorpio will beat your ass. So with that being said, Kai, all those wonderful things I just said about you.
Well, I don't know anything about beating people up.
Wait a minute,
I'm
Kai,
joking.
hold on, wait a minute.
You see how she cut her eyes real quick? Like, wait.
Look at Rhea. Rhea done took a nap. She's not even listening to this.
Rhea's seen me in high school, so she's seen a few fights. But anyway, yes, I'm a Scorpio, and I feel like I'm different from most Scorpios, honestly. But they always talk about us being intense. I don't think I'm very intense, but I don't know. But I figured a good anime, if I were an intense Scorpio like the rest, would be Madoka Magica. Now, Madoka Magica, it was like one of my favorite animes when I was in high school. So maybe
when you was beating people up.
It was only one time. I fought way more people in middle school. But anyways, Madoka Magica is this great anime. It starts off very typical magical girl types. You have a girl, Madoka, pink hair and everything. She and her blue-haired best friend, whose name I'm like drawing a blank on right now. Sorry.
Sayaka.
Oh yeah, Sayaka, there you go. They go to school. Eventually they find this weird cat thing called Kyubey. And, he's like this cute little thing, a typical magical girl mascot type. He offers them a few wishes. They think about it for a few minutes. How it works in his world is that you can wish for something and it comes true, and you just have to become a magical girl that fights witches and stuff. Now, that doesn't sound too bad at first. I mean, hey, it doesn't sound too bad. Oh, also another girl called Homura shows up. She's where all the Scorpio energy comes in from, honestly. It's eventually revealed, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this earlier, is that the magical girls are kind of almost cursed in a way. Like, the more they fight...
They are cursed.
Yeah, they're cursed.
Yeah, they're not kind of cursed. They are.
They are pretty much cursed.
Cursed.
Yeah, the more they fight witches, the more they need to grab these crystal type things that cleans their gems. Yeah, the witch seeds that cleans their gems. That's usually somewhere on their body. And if it doesn't clear enough, if they can't clean it enough, and they usually will never be able to, eventually they'll get corrupted and turn into a witch themselves, which is these weird creature type things that usually represent something in their life that really affected them. And yeah, it's like a bunch of messed up stuff from there. And Homura is trying to keep Madoka from becoming a magical girl because she has time travel abilities through her magical girl wish. She goes back. Madoka was like the only friend she really had. So and Madoka became a magical girl too. They were like fighting together. But Madoka eventually becomes a witch. So she's like, okay, I'm just gonna go back in time and stop this from happening, you know, save like literally the only friend I've ever really had. So yeah, they were roommates. It's a very intense feelings from that end, especially. Madoka doesn't remember her from like the other iterations though, unfortunately. So it's like Homura's the only one that really, yeah. I mean, it's one-sided in the sense that Madoka literally wouldn't remember her, but like Madoka still like likes her kind of in a way. Like she's trying to figure out what her deal is because again, she's very mysterious. Yeah, she's very mysterious, like a Scorpio tends to be. She's very intense, like don't get in her way, essentially. And yeah, she's great. She's like my favorite. I love her. And
Homura did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, it's fine. It's like whatever.
He literally becomes the devil, but okay, you guys.
He's not the devil, gosh.
You know, that's a podcast episode for another time.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like a Scorpio either way you slice it. So I guess we.
I mean,
again,
he did it all for love, so
yeah, which is what matters.
It is Scorpio energy for sure.
Yeah, I love it's.
You became the devil for love? That sounds like a Future line. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah. She doesn't become the devil. Hold on. She's like, it's like a whole other thing. But yeah, like, I think a Scorpio would like this because it's very intense. I know Scorpios are supposed to be kind of into like dark stuff too, and it gets pretty dark. And yeah, like the animation's great. I just love it.
I'm dying. Future really is a Scorpio. I'm crying.
I'm sold. Anything, throw me a magic girl, a witch, a little funny looking cat creature. I'm into it. Let's do it.
You would like it. It's not super long too.
It's only 12 episodes, and they have and there's a sequel movie that takes place after the final episode called Madoka Rebellion.
Oh, nice. Listen, I have so many things to watch. I'm so happy to know you all. And what blood type did you give it?
I believe I gave it type A, only because Homura she's very organized and what she's doing while she's time traveling. I mean, and hey, how are you not going to be since you've done this? Like, since you've relived the same school year, like, over and over and over again. She always goes back. She, like, steals guns from, like, cops and stuff, so she has plenty of weapons on her. Like, she knows what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, more or less. Like, she knows that, the massive witch thing called, something knocked. I forgot. It's something in German.
Walpurgisnacht.
Yeah, Walpurgisnacht.
You said that.
Is like on its way, and she's like very prepared, and that seems very type A to me overall.
Okay, good stuff. Well, Kai, take a deep breath because you're up next again.
Yeah.
The next zodiac sign on the wheel of the year is Sagittarius. Sagittarius symbolizes the archer. It's a fire sign. The birthdays associated with Sagittarius are November 23rd through December 21st. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, our luck planet. Sagittarians, for those of us who both know, love, and sometimes want to kill them, they're super wise people. Like the archer is actually kind of like a centaur. So you're kind of getting that mystical yet grounded wise old sage type figure. I get that wise old sage energy from Sagittarius all the time. They love to travel. Oh my gosh, you cannot get a Sagittarius to stay in one place for too long. They're usually spiritually gifted.
Or a relationship.
Well, they can't stay anywhere because if you better catch flight. They catch flights, not feelings. That is a Sagittarius slogan. But on the other hand, that fire sign energy is real strong with them. They are so short-tempered. Oh my gosh. They will blow up on you in a second.
Yeah,
And again, they don't stay in one place for any long period of time, so they don't have any connections. They're very nomadic, and they too are very obsessed with fame and recognition. Something about being that wise and that old, they feel like people need to see them for all the things they know and all the things they can do. Like a lot of Sagittarians all believe that they're like on their big break of being discovered all the time, and they are generally upset because nobody is on the break of discovering them. They can be a little arrogant, but overall they're very humorous and they're lucky people. That's why they think that, because Jupiter rules them, which is our luck planet, our planet of expansion. Things happen to them and they just like, oh, well, something else great's gonna happen to me. But unfortunately, luck, fame and recognition is not typically in the cards. So sorry, Sagittarians, let that dream go. But you guys make great teachers and spiritual advisors. So lean into that. Kai, what is the anime for our wise old sages?
Okay, yeah, I think I have Sagittarius somewhere in my chart, so that's the main reason I chose this. So yeah, I chose for an anime Kino's Journey, which I think is pretty great for this one. Oh, cool, great. Yeah, I'm glad you guys have heard of it, because I think it's a little more bit of a more obscure anime, but
it definitely is.
Yeah. But Kino's Journey is great. It starts off with this girl named Kino. She travels all over the world, different countries and stuff. It's very weird in a way. Like, I don't know what world they're in exactly, but it's all she travels the world with a talking motorcycle called Hermes. And they travel all throughout these mystical places, different countries and cities and towns and stuff, and forests. And they're all very unique. It's almost a fairy tale type thing going on. Like, each place is wildly different from the last. One will have like steampunk technology. The next will be like just straight up farmland with the basics, things of that nature. And her philosophy is that she only spends like 3 days and 2 nights in every town, without exception, because she believes that that's about all you need how much time you need to spend at a place in order to like learn everything you need to know about it. Which, from what you guys talk about Sagittarius, sounds very much like them. Yeah, it's very much anime focused almost entirely on travel. Like, you go to different places. It almost reminds me a little of Doctor Who in a way too. Like, at least when I first watched it. Like, you're never in one place for more than an episode, or maybe like 2 episodes at most. And it's like I said, it's not like your typical anime where it's like there's absolutely an overarching plot through it. It's more or less very what's that word? It's very episodic. Like, there's not really an overarching plot line exactly like Madoka Magica. She's going to different places. There's a story that happens there that she deals with, and then at the end, it kind of just ends. It's very much just like she goes to different places and things happen, and the end. It's very much like a fairy tale, I think, is what I really like about it. And yeah, it's kind of weird, but I really enjoy it. I absolutely suggest checking it out. It's not very long as well, so yeah, it's probably also about like 12 episodes. I love short anime. Oh my gosh.
It did come out with another sequel series a couple years ago, so if you want to watch this.
Oh yeah, what was it, that Kino's Beautiful World thing or something?
Yeah, it was really good, and it was like it was 10 episodes, so definitely watch it.
Okay, I'll check that out then. Yeah, it's great. If you really enjoy traveling, and Sagittarius does apparently really do, then yeah, you're gonna like that.
Nice. So my next question, Kai. I need to know. Was there a story somewhere in there? Was she? I mean, she hopped around so much. Again, Sagittarians, that's how they do in relationships too. So maybe she was out here getting vacation love.
Nah. Kino's more of she's like a kid. Like, she's, what is she, like 12 or something?
Yeah,
okay.
She's very young.
Yeah. She's
story there. That'd be very creepy.
Yeah. Nothing really in the way of romance. Yeah.
So what about the blood type?
Blood type I think I chose for this one was B. And apparently there's like a lot of negative connotations with B. I don't really know why. But like I think I chose B because they're known for like they tend to lose interest a little easily, which I think kind of fits into the not really her as a person or the character, but like more in the sense that like she doesn't want to like settle down anywhere. In fact, like she mentioned somewhere that like I'm afraid I'm going to like settle down at this place at one point. So like she I think she doesn't want to keep interest in one place for too long, which is why she has the 3 days, 2 nights type of philosophy. So I think I chose blood type B based on that.
Okay. Makes sense to me. So Kai, you can rest your vocal cords for just a bit. We're gonna move on to zodiac sign number 10, which is Capricorn. And I know who our resident Capricorn is. That's right, it's Danny, guys. So I hope she agrees with this anime selection. But Capricorn is symbolized as the goat, typically symbolized as a sea goat, because they have this ability to kind of move between land and water very well. It's an earth sign, and the birth dates associated with Capricorn are December 22nd to January 20th. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is our planet of time. Saturn is associated with Kronos, if you guys know any of that history. And Saturn's also the planet that kind of reflects boundaries and traditions and things that are very much so encapsulated in the 3D material world. So Capricorns, as a result, are very hardworking. They are very focused on being responsible so that they can get to the bag and ensure that they are stable and secure for all times. They're a very mature sign. No matter how old a Capricorn is, they about their business. They don't eat too many snacks when they're kids, and they save all their little allowance. They are very much so an organized and enterprising sign. But on the other hand, so, you know, we talked about that devil energy coming up with Scorpio. Oh, no. Devil energy is Capricorn energy.
Yeah, we are.
Because the devil in astrology or tarot or the metaphysical realm is associated with the ties that bind us to this 3D world, because that's where the devil is manifested. So it's very much so people who are slaves to money, slaves to being ambitious, slaves to being too career oriented. They don't typically spend a lot of time focusing on family or family values. It's money over everything, and that's it. Capricorns can be seen as emotionless, but it's not so much that they're emotionless. It's more so that they are very much so methodical in the things that they do. So if it doesn't line up with logic, then they don't put any emotion into it. It's just not, it doesn't make sense to put emotion behind it. They can come off as harsh, again, because they're very straightforward, because logically it doesn't make sense to take time cushioning people's feelings. And they can be greedy. Again, they have some germaphobe type traits also, which is just like a little fun fact I wanted to throw in there. Because of that meticulousness that exists inside of them, they can be super germaphobes. So Capricorn, Rhea, what should they be watching? And I will go ahead and throw in there, my rising sign is Capricorn, so you got me, Rhea. I need to know.
Okay, so for this one, I picked something, I don't know, I wanted to pick something that, because everyone knows that like Capricorns like to work, and so I wanted to pick something that, you know, it resonated with that, but it wasn't necessarily the first thing you thought of. So I picked Yuri on Ice, and I picked that mainly because it is flashy. It incorporates dance. It does have a love interest and a love story, and that's really nice. But Yuri only wants to skate. He's only really trying to skate, and he's only trying to work towards winning and getting the gold. I think it's like the gold of the championship or whatever. You meet all these other contestants who are just as determined as him, but I feel like Yuri is the only one who truly focuses in on the technique of ice skating, which I feel like is hardcore Capricorn energy.
Yep.
I also did blood type A, again, because blood type A's, they're very by the book, very organized, very much so hardworking. So, yep, that's what I chose.
That makes sense. Even when you just think of type A people,
I have to say that was a very fantastic pick because I was obsessed with Yuri on Ice for like 2 years. I have a lot of Yuri on Ice merch.
Good. I'm glad you like.
This has the Capricorn seal of approval.
Yes, I'm glad.
Our anime queen says it. Yuri on Ice for Capricorns.
Like that was a Capricorn story. It was a very much a Capricorn story, man.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, listen, I'm here for all these picks because they're not the things that I have heard throughout the years. Is like, watch this, watch that. So I'm excited to really tap into some of this anime greatness. All right. So we're at the 11th sign of the Zodiac, y'all, and it's about to get a little weird. Look at him smiling already. We have made it to Aquarius, and our resident Aquarius here on Team Blurred View is the very own Johnny D. Aquarius symbolizes the water bearer, and it's funny, people get this messed up all the time, you guys. Aquarius is an air sign.
Oh, Aquarius is an air sign,
guys. It's not a water sign, just because it's got aqua in the name.
It's definitely an air sign.
And if you
don't blame anyone for thinking that.
You know that all they do is just think crazy thoughts all day, okay?
It's the shade. Y'all gonna shade me like y'all did the Gemini.
Listen, as someone who's rising as Aquarius, it's true.
Except your fate, okay? We tell the truth on the Blurred View all the time. The birthdays associated with Aquarius are January 21st through February 18th, and it is ruled by the planet Uranus. Uranus is one of those planets that is just a little weird, okay? It's a weird planet, but it also is the planet that kind of has that revolutionary energy behind it, and that's very Aquarian also. Aquarians are heavy thinkers, very creative, very focused on progression, specifically like progression of harmonious societies. They're family oriented, and they're weird. They're the weirdos we love. They're the eccentric people. The Aquarians, if you are from Atlanta, they probably are all the people in Little 5 Points. I don't know what the areas are in y'all cities, but the Aquarians hang out in Little 5 Points in Atlanta, okay? You might lean to watchers, you know exactly what I mean. And because they're heavy thinkers, they love to read. But again, heavy thinkers have this problem where they tend to be in their head so much that they struggle to really make attachments. So Aquarians don't really connect with people that well. People are drawn to them because of that very humanitarian energy that they have, but they like themselves the most. So they can have full-on relationships and conversations with themselves, and that's fine. Aquarians are also super judgmental. So they're gonna like you until they don't like you. And they're stubborn. They can never admit when they're wrong, because an Aquarian is never wrong when they're their best friend. Their best friend tells them they're right. So they can get lost in their own world, but it's usually a world that they want for everyone else. So they're trying to make the best world for everybody else. It just doesn't always come out that way. So Johnny D, a resident Aquarius, always trying to change the world in the strangest ways possible. What is the anime that you suggest for your people?
Honorable mention, shout out to Yusuke Urameshi. But the anime that I did choose was my favorite anime, Golden Boy. Let me tell you,
yes!
Golden Boy, Kentaro Oe.
Yes!
Right quick. So, Kentaro Oe is a 25-year-old college dropout. He dropped out of Tokyo University the day of graduation, literally right before he was supposed to walk. He dropped out of school after completing all his credits and graduation requirements.
Look at Rita's face. If that's not the most Aquarian bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Even drop out at that point. Is that possible?
Listen, don't come to my man. Don't come to my man. Listen, he decided that he was gonna go be what's called a fretter, and basically what he does is he's a bum. Listen, he's not a bum, but he's a bum. Like he's 25. He goes around doing odd jobs. He's a self-proclaimed traveling student, and he's a bit of a pervert. He's a little bit, man. And my boy goes around. The plot is basically like the most beautiful 6 episodes of any anime ever of all time. And he goes around on his bike around Japan, and he's doing odd jobs. At each of his odd jobs, there's a woman, right? And they can't stand his ass because he's in his own world. He's in his own head. He talks to himself. He makes up scenarios that don't exist. Like when he's like the first episode, he's cleaning the boss lady's toilet, and he starts fetishizing about her sitting on the toilet because apparently he has a toilet fetish, and she walks in on him in the midst of his fantasy and is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just," and he's very dramatic. He's very it's like almost theatrical dramatic. And I know it's an anime, so it's like, well, obviously, he's going to be dramatic, but it's like over the top drama, but it's realistic. But he's always willing to learn. He works all these odd jobs so that he can learn different things and new skills and learn about people. And he comes in, even though he comes in like haphazard, like even though he comes in like ditzy almost, like he doesn't know what the hell's going on and always ends up messing stuff up. He ends up drastically improving the lives of everybody he comes in contact with. And it's not quite sure, like it's his inherent intention to do so, even though it doesn't seem clear in the beginning. And even though he has hoes, the hoes don't have him because he lusts after the women that he comes in contact with every episode, but they hate him until he leaves and they realize how much he's improved their lives. As, per the Aquarius. That's how we roll. Then they end up chasing after him because they realize he's the greatest thing they've ever had because he's got to be an Aquarius. And he's just on to the next thing. And for blood type, I picked O and AB. AB because he's eccentric, he's a loaf. He's very charming, he's very sociable, but in the O side, he's very unpredictable. He's a romanticist and he's very carefree. He's just, I'm here and then I'm not. It is what it is. I'm gone. So Golden Boy, I will always recommend that.
All right. Golden Boy, recommended by Johnny D, an eccentric bum who is a pervert. Got it.
Not me, the character.
It does sound like a good anime. It really does.
That's wild.
And it sounds super, it sounds like it works for the sign. So
Johnny, you also forgot to add that it was from the 90s.
Yes, and it was from the 90s.
Oh, it's top tier. It's top tier. It's quality writing. I'm here for it. Okay.
One of the best shonen and the actors are all real theater actors. Okay. So all the reactions, the monologues, the dramatization is theater-based voice acting. So it's top tier. Like the voice acting is always been rated as top tier.
Good stuff. Well, Golden Boy is definitely going on the list. And unfortunately, for all of our viewers who we know are enjoying this as much as we are, we've reached the end of the Wheel of the Year, you guys. We've reached the 12th sign. And I'm going to say what they say about this sign. I don't believe it. Pisces is supposed to be the most evolved sign because they have experienced all the things the other signs have experienced.
That ain't
it. All Pisces shade all day. Just kidding. Pisces is symbolized by the fish, and it is a water sign. The dates associated with Pisces are February 19th to March 20th, and it's ruled by Neptune, our very illusion and dreamy planet. Because of that, Pisces are very artistic people. They do really well in creative spaces. They are not super grounded. So the fish is very much so their symbol. They have to be in creation to be thriving. They are imaginative. They are usually very intuitive and psychic and have strong connections to anything that could be a part of an illusion type deal. They're dreamy and they're super empathetic. They can feel all the emotions all the time. And that leads to some of their more negative traits, which is they feel so many emotions, and even if they're not their emotions, they decide they're their emotions, and then they become the victim of whatever those emotions were. Pisces can be very self-centered and self-destructive, very dramatic. They hold grudges better than a Scorpio, honestly, because they will hold grudges against nothing. And because Pisces are so creative, their mind is just always on that next like big dream. They're not really responsible with money. That's not their bag, and they are typically a little messy. They're just trying to live in the moment and live their best lives. So Kai, you brought it all the way back around, and you've had some time to rest your vocal cords. Tell me, what is the best anime for a Pisces?
All right. Well, I chose this one because my mom's a Pisces. So, oh, this is very funny to me. But I chose Sailor Moon, actually, because when people mention Pisces, well, Rhea in particular, she always mentions how they're kind of crybabies. And I immediately thought of Sailor Moon because she starts off very much... She's easily overwhelmed. She cries quite a bit. She often needs like Sailor Mars and Sailor Mercury to like get her to stop crying and actually throw her tiara or whatever, when she gets more moves and stuff. But yeah, like I chose Sailor Moon because she is pretty into her feelings and stuff, and I think a lot of Pisces would appreciate that. She's a bit flighty. She's certainly dramatic. She's pretty immature starting off. Obviously she gets better later on, and if she's not your favorite Sailor Scout, like other people could watch for like some of the others. Like my favorite was like Sailor Jupiter for a while anyways. And she's pretty messy, and she very much encapsulates like what I think like a Pisces kind of is. So if you enjoy that, and like Sailor Moon's a classic. I mean, who doesn't like Sailor Moon? So you're going to enjoy it one way or another, I'm pretty sure, unless you really can't stand Serena or Sailor Moon. I forgot what Usagi, that was her name in Japanese. Yeah, like if you absolutely can't stand her, then like you might not be able to get through this. But like if you're like a Pisces, you might relate to her in a way. So yeah.
And if you don't want to watch the 90s one, just watch the new one.
Yeah, much better.
On Netflix streaming.
The new one's better? I don't know.
Way better.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
No crying. Less crying. A lot less crying.
It's a lot less filler.
The new one is a direct adaptation of the manga, so it cuts out all the fluff.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's true. The OG one did have like a lot of fluff. Like it seemed like seasons before we even got all 5 Sailor Scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kept running and catching up to the manga because it was a monthly run manga, and so the anime is like, oh no, we caught up. Filler, so she could write some stuff, and they're like, oh crap, we caught up again, more filler. And so now Sailor Moon Crystal is a direct adaptation of the manga from its form, and it's actually really good. I approve of it. They did a good job adapting the manga.
I'll check that out then.
Watch the 90s version to get your filler, your tears, and all your feelings. The rest of us watch the one on Netflix. I'll definitely check that out. What blood type did you give it?
I think I gave it a blood type O. I believe that's the blood type for what was it? I have like the notes because I really don't know much about this. Oh yeah, it's like optimistic and outgoing, and it's mentioned something about leadership abilities, and she develops those over time. So if you want to see someone becoming a leader, then yeah, that's a good thing for you to have it. So yeah, I just chose blood type O, and they also mentioned being resilient and flexible. And yeah, she is. I mean, she cries a lot, but she does get back up eventually. She just has to have a little, fit first. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, like a true Pisces.
Is there a love story undertone there?
Absolutely.
There can be. For Pisces, there has to be a love story.
100%.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, it has such a deep love story in that.
There can't be a Piscean anime without a love story. That doesn't. They love love just to love it.
Like anytime you see like a top 10 anime couples list, Usagi's and Mamoru are always on that list from Sailor Moon. They're always within the top 5.
It just depends on which version you watch. In the 90s version, she's in love with a bum pervert pedophile, and in Crystal, she's in love with a badass. It's just you have to, you got to pick which Sailor Moon. But,
so it sounds to me again that the theory remains the same, that Pisces will really enjoy the 90s version and the rest of the world will probably really, really like the new.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. Either way, I'm going to watch both, and then I'm going to compare and contrast. I'm lying. I'm probably going to watch the one on Netflix.
Yeah. I didn't know it was on Netflix. I got to check it out.
Yeah, they just put the new Sailor Moon Eternals movies on Netflix last week.
Yep.
Well, shout out to Sailor Moon for doing his thing on Netflix. But yeah, so we made it to the end, guys. That's the wheel of the year from top to bottom. We hope you learned something today for those of you who aren't super knowledgeable in astrology. And for those of you like myself who kind of suck at anime, we just gave you some really top tier animes to watch. So check them out.
Yeah.
And if you listen to this list and whatever your sign is the anime have your seal of approval? Like Yuri and Ice got the Capricorn seal of approval?
We need to know. Leave it in the comments. Send us a
Hello,
DM.
baby.
Whatever you need to do to let us know how you feel about this list, do it, because we want to know. I'm going to go ahead and watch that one for Cancer, and then I'll let you guys know in the comments how I feel.
Please do.
All right, well, you guys ready to get out of here? Because our time is about up for this panel.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
But thank you, everybody, for watching. It's your boy, Jonathan D'Angelo, a.k.a. Johnny D, Neko Yasha 09, Burning Star Official, Rhea Mars, and our metaphysical, knowledgeable queen of all of that stuff, Mermaid Moonchild. Y'all check us all out at the Blurb You, baby. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.